Hey y'all, my name's Katie and today I'm going to be attempting to paint a ghost in the garden. Feel free to paint with me and we'll try not to screw it up too bad. And if we do, we'll have a drink ready to make us feel better. So grab an age-appropriate drink and let's get to it. So what you'll need for this painting is acrylic paint. I have titanium white, burnt sienna, cadmium yellow medium hue, phthalo green, and phthalo blue. I have Artist Loft and Soho Urban Artist Acrylic, the cheapest of the cheap. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it. I use palette paper to mix my paints. You can use paper plates. You can use whatever you want, as long as you can mix your paints. I have painting paper, canvas paper. It's Strathmore. It's just whatever acrylic painting paper you can find, painting paper in general. I have my beverage, some water. I have 4 different brushes. It is an inch brush, quarter-inch flat brush, and some small detail brush, and a palette knife. And last but not least, a napkin to wipe our brushes off on. And that should be all we need for this. So to start this painting of our little ghost, what we'll do is start with mixing our paints. Since we're gonna have a ghost, we want about a quarter-size dollop of white paint. It's titanium white. We'll do a little dime size of cadmium yellow, dime size of sienna, burnt sienna, probably a quarter size of phthalo green, since we're gonna put him in a little garden, or her, whatever you want, and a dime size of blue, and we'll see where that gets us, and we'll have our paint stir. So then we'll mix some of our paints together. We'll make a little bit of black, since that is going to be our ghost's eyes and mouths. And to do that, we get our burnt sienna and our phthalo blue. We're just going to mix it into a nice black. If you get too much brown and it's a dark brown, just add more blue. And if it's super blue, just add more brown. Easy as that. And we'll take our palette knife with that, because it'll really mess up our brushes if we don't. Put that in the water so it doesn't dry on there. Again, acrylic paints dry really, really hard. They just condense into like a polymer, and it's impossible to get out. So it sucks. Don't do it. Trust me, I've learned the hard way. And then we'll take our palette knife again, kind of wipe it off. And we'll also do a lighter blue for our sky, because we want to do some of that. It's okay if you don't have, you have a little bit of the other color on there. Not a big deal. If it's a ton, wipe it off more, but it's just a little bit. You can't even tell. And we'll just mix that till it's a nice blue. Looks good enough. Take our inch-long brush. We'll do some water on here, not too much, just wipe it. And then we'll grab our lighter blue and start it at the top, and then work our way down. And we want it to be a gradient, because the further back it is, that looks like it's more up in the ozone. It's okay too if it's streaky like that, because the sky is not going to be completely uniform. And then we'll take some white and just brush it up into there. I didn't wash my brush off. I didn't wipe it off. That's totally fine to do that. And we'll bring it down and back and forth. And we'll wipe it off on our napkin, get a little bit more white, start over again. If you got a lot of paint on there, just grab some water and wipe it up in there. Perfect. So what we want is to kind of make it look like the sky as a little backdrop, and then we'll have our field of flowers and greenery. And then our ghost will be our focal point. So we don't want the white to go all the way down, because our ghost is going to be white and we don't want him to get lost in the sauce. We'll put our brush in the water and we'll wash it off. And then we'll take it out again, wipe it off on our napkin, and we'll do some green as well. This is going to be the backdrop for our little garden. And we just want to cover the paper, because it's easier for us anyway. It looks less intimidating if you cover paper. Oops, my paper is not very secure. And it also will cover our canvas so that we only have to do like one layer of plants and not like paint over and over and over it. And it's okay if it's like streaky like this, no worries. That'll just be the main part of our little garden. We'll probably put our ghost right here. You can do a little outline if you want to be like, visualize where you want him. Some plants maybe, be like, oh, we'll have some plants framing our little ghost. Not too much. You can kind of visualize. It already looks so cute. And yeah, we'll let it dry for a second and we'll take a little drink for all our hard work. So while we wait for it to dry a little bit, we can take our inch-long brush, just wipe it off, and get a little bit of white. We'll do some clouds, and I'm just gonna do little circles, little C's, sideways C's, I guess. And then because the clouds are gonna be kind of resting on the like ozone, I'll do a little line to show that they're like on the atmosphere, and a little more C's. Your clouds can be a little textured if you want, and you can do little lines too, like little lines to show that there's other little wispy clouds, maybe smaller clouds as they get up into the atmosphere. I'm just kind of dabbing, not in the dance way, but like dabbing little bits of paint on there to make it look like a half C or something, to make it look like it's in the background in smaller clouds. And then we'll let that dry a little bit too, and then we'll do another layer of white. And that'll be more, show the closer clouds to us, which is great. And then we'll wash that off. And we'll just keep moving on. Take our 1/4 inch brush. We'll start doing some of the greenery. Actually, you know what? We got to do our palette knife because I'm going to not do that. I say it every time, and then I use my brush, and then I fuck it up, and it's stupid. So we'll wipe our sky blue off on there because we don't want it to mix with our green. So we'll take a green. This is like a super teal green, so we want to make it a little bit more yellow. And we'll mix that together. It's gonna be really translucent that way, so we'll also add a little bit of white, not too much, because that really, white is always gonna wash out your colors, make it more opaque, but it'll really wash them out. And yeah, we'll just scrape it all together. You'll probably need a fair amount of this, so you might mix a good amount in the beginning so that you don't have to remix it, but if not, I'm sure I'll run out, so I'll show you how to do that later. We'll also take our burnt sienna and a little bit of green, and that'll be like our stemmy plants. It'll mix with our other green, which is great because then it'll look all connected and nice. Kind of just looks black. We'll add a little bit of yellow in there. And that's kind of like an olive green, which is fine. All right, so then we have about 3 different shades of green, which is perfect. And then we'll take our 1/4 inch brush and we'll take some of this brown, and we will, so our ghost is probably gonna be there in the middle. So we'll do wherever we want some stems, and it doesn't really matter where you do it. You just wanna do a fair amount so that it looks like it's a full bounty of a garden. And we can do some through our ghost too. Yeah, that looks cute. And we might do some overhanging so that our little ghost is in a little forest, which is super cute. I feel like I say that a ton, but you know, that's just who I am as a person. So then we got our stems. We'll wipe our brush off, grab this darker green, and we'll try and do a couple of leaves in where we think the densest part of this is. So it's probably around our ghost. Let's probably frame our ghost a little bit where we think he is, or she again, whichever. everybody's got unfinished business, you know, so who knows? No need to discriminate on ghosts. I got a lot of brown in there, so I'm gonna wipe that off on my napkin. Just pick up more green. And yeah, you can go over the stems, you can go around the stems, it doesn't really matter, as long as you get this green in there. And then we'll kind of let it radiate out and bleed into the background. So you don't have to do all of this green. You can just do a little bit like around the ghost, and that'll make our ghost pop. We'll not touch the ghost quite yet, because there is a little trick that's super easy. That'll just show you in a second. And then we'll also do some just in the backgrounds of these stems, not touching it, just where we think the leaves are probably going to overlap eventually. And we can do a couple stems that are green as well. Easy peasy. And that looks great, doesn't it? I'm just kidding, it looks like shit. So hopefully it comes together, but we'll see, we'll see. And also what I'm doing is I'll put the tip of my brush down and then press down a little bit and then pick it up again, and that'll make a nice like leaf color. And if you kind of flick it off, it'll make a nice little blade of grass color too. And yeah, now that this is dry a little bit, we can also overlap this color a little and make it more complex looking. Make it look like it's really in a thicket. Beautiful, look at that. Oh my gosh. It looks, let's hope it looks okay. You know what, let's take a drink about it. Great. Now it looks great. And we'll just wash our brush off and wait for it to dry for a second. Okay, so now what we will do is wipe our brush off. We'll take this brown again, kind of go over some of our stems that were lost a little bit. And we'll also do a couple little leaves as well coming off the stem. So what I would do, plant my brush and just bring it into the stem. And those look like little leaves. And again, same thing. So you can plant your brush, kind of push it down into the paper and then bring it up. And then also take the brush and flick it off, and that looks like a nice little leaf. And we'll probably pick up some of this green and do some of these as green leaves too. And again, the more layers we do, the more complex it's gonna look. And if you just keep adding leaves, you know, eventually it'll all come together. Sometimes some of your paintings start out looking like shit and you're like, oh no, this will never work out. And then you keep working on it and miraculously it like all comes together. So generally you say like, don't judge it until you're done. Sometimes though, it doesn't come together and you feel stupid, but that's like sometimes. That's like not all the time. But yeah, we'll just keep doing little leaves on it. And so now we also do want to cover up this lighter green that we have in the background. At least a little bit. You don't have to all the way. But I'm just doing leaves like randomly, filling in some of the gaps with this darker green. Because we also have, again, the regular green if we want, and a lighter green too. So it's not imperative that we fill up every little space with this. It's just for fun. Again, this painting is just for fun. No need to put so much pressure on ourselves. So right now I'm just kind of planting the brush and flicking it off for these nice little leaf. And again, if you want it to be like a longer leaf, I would just plant the brush, flick it off, and then plant your brush again and do it up. So flick it up. And it's just like doing little check marks without the little first part of it. It's like the tail of a check mark, I guess. Is that what you would say? I don't know. Yeah, we'll just keep doing little leaves. And it helps if your flat brush is very flat. So we're using the sharper end of our brush to kind of cut it into the paper. If your flat brush has been ruined because you have used it to mix paint too much, totally fine. Done it all the time myself, but it's just not going to be quite as sharp of grass, and it's going to look a little bit like fuzzy. So just make sure your flat brush is like pretty sharp. And yeah, look at that. It looks like a nice little thicket. It's coming together. It's really coming together. Probably use most of this up anyway. And I am just overlapping, trying to do it where it's dry so that if it's all wet, it's gonna get really muddled together. So you want to do mostly where it's like dried off a little bit. And you can do leaves, you can do stems through it too. You can keep doing some stems because you do need those as well to make it look really nice and clean. And then yeah, we might do some yellow flowers too towards the end, but right now we're just trying to fill this in. That'll be at the end and we can do some fun stuff with it. But yeah, it's coming together. Put our brush in the water and we'll let it dry for just a second. So then we'll clean off our brush, wipe it off on our napkin, try not to get it everywhere, take our lighter green, and same thing, since this is going to be darker, we'll do very sparing amounts right here, and we'll do more over here, because that's where our light is going to be. So you want the ghost to look really like it's in the thicket. And we'll kind of be sparing with it too over here, if I can. It is a little teal, so we might add a little bit more yellow. Yeah, that's more green. I am ruining my brush right now by mixing it, but you know what? YOLO, baby. Baby. And you can do a couple here too, no big deal. And also like a couple stems in the light. It'll really stand out. And we'll also do some of the ground over here as well, where our ghosty is, especially, and our grass. And again, it's still a little translucent. That's okay. We'll do multiple layers. No big deal. And yeah, we don't want to cover our blades completely, so what I would do is just plant my brush and bring it down into the leaves instead of just going up. Because now we have some really nice leaves that we want to keep intact. And our forest also will be kind of brambly, so you want stems to be going like this way, that way, overlapping. You want it to look really complex. So just make sure you're not making all your leaves one way and you're overlapping and it's all kind of like chaotic, and it'll look really nice. And as I don't take my own advice, you know, just keep going with it. Just keep going. Eventually you'll come up with something that you might even like. I mean, maybe not, but yeah, again, that's what the drink is for. Yeah, these will be the forefront ones, so some of them you can also just like completely overlap with it, and that's totally valid and okay. And it looks so beautiful. If you do get too much paint on your brush, you can just smush it over here and get some of the paint off, reshape your brush and keep going, or you can just wipe it off. You don't have to work with a really muddled brush if you don't want to. Or you can if you want. I am not the boss of you. You are the Master of your own life. And again, so we don't have to completely fill in the background because we do have this green in the back too that kind of fills in all the gaps, which is very nice for us. But we do want to do the majority of it for sure. All right, and then, so it's lacking a little bit, so we will do one more layer of green. Let me do a little bit more right here. So this is a little muddy, so we'll tidy it up a little bit with our brush and just do a couple. There we go. All right, so yeah, still a little muddy, so we'll do one more layer of, calm down. One more layer of green, so we'll take our palette knife, wipe it. Honestly, you don't have to, we use green, so it's fine. We'll take some of this green we made, add a little bit more yellow, a little bit more white, and mush it together, and that will be our final layer of green. You can see that's a different shade than this, so as long as it's a lighter shade, you're golden. You get. And then we'll put it in the water, take our quarter brush again, and this time, yeah, mostly just out here. You do want to make sure that this is a little bit dry because otherwise it'll just muddle all your paints together and that it doesn't look great. It doesn't look the worst, but it doesn't look great. So make sure also your brush isn't too wet. If it is, just wipe it off. And then we'll do some of the grass too down here. Just little flicks, flick, flick, flick. And we can add some over here too in front of the ghost. We'll do some of the shadow ones too over here too. So again, you can use some lighter green over here. Just make it a little sparing. Just so that it looks a little bit like it's darker over there. Yeah, painting is just layer, layer, layer. Layer, layer, layer. And yeah, if it's closer to the sky too, you can use a bit more green, of this like lighter green, because it is touching the light. So you can add some up here as well. That'll look totally natural. All right. So we'll do a little bit more here, and then we'll just start with our little ghosty. Probably wipe it off. Do a little bit of, oh, it's all dry. All right, we'll mix a little bit more of this. I don't know what colors we use for this. I think it was yellow too. Try to mix a little bit more of this. Generally, if I'm mixing a new color, I try and leave a little bit so I can match it to that color that I was mixing, and hope that I can make it again. And yeah, okay, great. That looks, you know, it looks. All right, and then, yeah. Do a little bit down here too. With the grass, yeah, you also don't want it to be too uniform, so we can do a couple little blades of this darker stuff. Okay, great. And then we'll wash our brush off. All right, while we wait for that to dry off, we can also do some of our clouds again. Mine dried really light, so I'll just take this inch-long brush and do more, get enough paint, and do just a little bit more of my clouds. And I'm just doing little C's everywhere and a line underneath. Super easy stuff. I'm not doing, well, I kind of did every single one over there, but it looks better if you just do one or two of your little clouds, like you just overlap this one cloud and leave the rest so that it looks like this part is closer. Those are in the background. We'll leave that one alone because it's further back. And then we can wait for it to dry off or something, or just try it now. And we'll do it on this one as well. And you can see it does look a little bit like there's more depth in those clouds now. Probably do another little one over here too. And again, just like little C's and a line. And that's cute. All right, and then we will do our ghost as well, and that's gonna be our white. So we'll make sure our brush is clean. And for the ghost, what we want is for it to be translucent. So the really easy way is take these colors we just mixed and just add white to it, or whatever color you're doing translucent with. And that makes it look like you can see through it, and it's so easy. I'll just take a tiny bit of each color and make it lighter with the white. And there we go. Then we'll do our ghost. So what I will do is outline it with the white wherever I want this ghost to be. And this is just with our 1/4 inch brush. Since this white is pretty translucent, you can do more than outline it if you want. You can paint the whole thing if you want, but we'll probably have him lost in the grass a little bit. So we'll just put those down there and then cover him with grass later. So it doesn't matter what his little tail looks like. And then we'll leave that middle part empty, and we'll fill it with this translucent green that we just mixed. And again, you can do little stems as well. You can see one of the stems in the background because we kind of just added that before. Again, if you want to add more stems, I would just take the brown, take the white, mix it until it looks like you could see through a ghost with it, and just do it. That's still honestly pretty saturated. So you want to just desaturate your colors with the white. And then you can do whatever you want in there. And that kind of looks like stems. You can do little leaves on there too. Yeah, I kind of ruined that. All right, I'm gonna have to mix that color again, but that's okay. And then again, just keep doing little leaves. And then we'll just blend it all in there when we're done. And it'll look like a little ghosty. Little ghosty hanging out. Isn't that so cute? Do some of this green too. It's a little saturated. We'll add some white to it. You don't want to go too white either. I mean, you can. Honestly, it doesn't matter. But yeah, super easy. And then we might add a little bit of black to this as well, because it's looking a little bit too bright. There we go. There we go. All right, great. And we'll let it dry for a second. And while we do that, honestly, we'll take this black since we have it. We'll also do some more of these layers over here. Just kind of some leaves randomly in these darker places. Don't get too much water in your brush or it will run everywhere and ruin everything that you worked for, and you will resent it. And yeah, we'll just do in between. Just again, every layer you add makes it a little bit more complex, which is kind of what we want. But not too many. I probably added too many there, but it's fine. It's fine. All right, and just a couple more. I'm also kind of covering the stuff that I don't really like. So these really shitty looking stems that are like, we're a bit too liquidy. I'm just gonna cover them up. Who needs to see that? And just a couple more here or there. We don't want to go too crazy if it's outside of the stuff that's hidden the most, but we can add a little bit. We can have some fun. Okay, and now we'll let it dry for a second, and we'll continue on. Okay, so now what we'll do, since that's dry, we'll take our detail brush, and we'll start doing more of the green, but this time we'll really pay attention to where we're going with it. We didn't have as much control with the 1/4 inch brush, but now we have this, so we can really make it pop. And if your paints are drying a little bit, just add a little water to them. These are acrylic paints, so they just need water to keep them going. Oil paints are super nice, but they need a lot of like turpentine and stuff to get them liquidy, which really sucks. And yeah, I'll just do a couple with this lighter green in between these darker ones to make it look a little bit more interesting. It's a little muddled together right now. All right, I need to mix more dark green, so I will take my palette knife, green, brown, yellow, just mix it. We did add some white. Just try and remember, if you're mixing colors, the vague amount that you did, like, oh, I added green, I added yellow, I added white, and then eventually you'll find your way back, I hope. Unless you don't, and then that really sucks, but you know what? It wasn't meant to be then. All right, take our detail brush again. Just keep going with it. Sometimes you also, yeah, just add some water to it. You can also kind of use this to shape your ghost as well. If it's kind of going out of the lines you want, just use your green to cover and make it into another little leaf. No worries. You can also use it to shape your other leaves. So if a leaf is out of control and you're like, whoa, that is not the shape that I wanted for that leaf, then that's where this comes in. It's just keep doing it. It's supposed to look brambly. Again, you can kind of still see my line right there of the background color, so I'm going to use this to cover it up even more. Just do little sprigs off there until you can't really see it, or it looks a little bit more vague. Just again, be careful you're not covering all of the other leaves you worked hard on. And it doesn't have to be attached to anything. No one's going to be able to tell. But if you find a stem and you want to follow it, just add more leaves to it. Or if you add a random line, you can also add leaves to that one, and you're like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to look. It's fine. Again, just plant your brush and flick it off. Easy as that. All right, yeah, just keep on going. This dark green we'll probably use a little bit more of. Yeah, so my voice still isn't recovered. Again, I am working at a haunted house and it's a lot of screaming. Yeah, somebody shoved me in it yesterday and it was really not cool. They were an asshole. Because they got, well, they weren't even scared. They were just acting stupid. So yeah, treat the people in the haunted house with some respect, please, if you go. It's super fun for everybody, but only if you all respect each other. Because otherwise, that's really shitty. And yeah, I'm just going to add more grass too at the bottom. You can add a couple of these. Nah, I'm not going to. Just add more grass. Pretend I did not say anything. Yeah, just if you do grass, do it one way, do it the other way, overlap them. Don't make it all the same direction because that looks really weird. All right. And then yeah, once you're satisfied with that, put your brush in the water and then wash it off. We'll wipe it off. We'll grab this white. Once this is pretty dry, you can run your finger over it. If it doesn't come off on your finger, that means you're good to go. Try not to get your brush all wet. If you do, just use your napkin to dab it off. And then we'll outline our ghost again. This time it's more opaque because we have one layer down already. So outline our ghost. If this is still really wet, it might drag it with it. Just wipe it off, wait till it dries, and cover it up. No worries. And yeah, just follow that. And we'll wipe it and just kind of mush it in to this other area and just keep wiping it on our napkin. Keep following along this line until the edges are softened. You can add some water and just keep going. And we'll add some little wrinkles on this guy's cape as well. Maybe if we have a line we don't really like, we'll just turn that into a little wrinkle for the ghosty. No big deal. Yeah, that's so cute. All right, I love it. All right, and the next is gonna be our little expression. So we'll take this black. If it's dried up, add some water to it. If it's totally dried up, mix more. And we'll do little eyes. Oh, make sure your brush doesn't have water sneaking up on it because that will ruin everything. And I'll just do a little curved line and another curved line, make a meet. And a curved line and another curved line and make a meet. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. I'm not gonna add a little mouth. I'm gonna try and make these like the same size. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but. Oh, he's so cute. All right, and then we'll wash our brush off and let that dry for a second. Okay, so the final step will be our little flowers. So we'll take our palette knife, we'll wipe it off. Take some of this really shitty yellow I have, with white. We'll mix it, add a little more white. We'll do little white and yellow flowers, so white and green flowers. Okay, that's fine. So we got our yellow. We'll do our detail brush. We'll just do some flowers everywhere. You do kind of want to make sure this is dry because otherwise your yellow flowers are going to just turn every color but the one you want. And we'll just do little flowers everywhere. Oh my goodness, look how cute. If it is wet, wipe your brush off, let it dry, move on to somewhere else. Oops. And keep on going. I'm kind of just doing plant my brush, bring it in, plant it, bring it in, all around. Easy as that. We can do some of this grass I don't love, so I'm gonna cover it with flowers. Because who doesn't love flowers? People won't notice if it's covered with flowers. And if it does turn a little green, that's okay. Some flowers are like a little bit younger and they're still like growing and they're green, you know? That's fine. And we'll also do our white flowers too. So make sure you leave a little bit of room. And you don't have to. Like if you just want yellow flowers and you're vibing with those, go for it. But I want to add some white so we can have like a lot of variation. See, that's a mess. So we'll just let it dry, wipe our brush off and keep going. I'm not, like you could try and put it on a vine if you want. I'm not paying too much attention to that. Put a little flower in the ghostie's hair. You can't really see it too well though, so. But it's there. We'll just keep going with it. I'm doing 5 little petals. You can do as many as you like. You can do like 20 petals if you want. If it looks a little sparse, I'll just add another petal. But so far, this is looking very cute. Have I said that enough? Very cute. It's always looking cute. And again, this is the time, if you have any mistakes that you want to cover, just put a flower on it. No one will even know. Who's gonna know? No one's gonna know. All right. We'll wash our detail brush off. Try not to get a lot of color on it because we're going to white. Pick up our white and just start adding little white flowers too. And again, anything that has something that I want to cover up, if you get too much water, wipe it off on your brush. But anything I want to cover up, that is going to be a white flower or a yellow flower or whatever. That one is a little weird looking, so we'll add another little petal to it. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. This one's got a lot of petals. Okay, there we go. And I probably wouldn't put a ton of white flowers near the ghost because he might get lost. But if you do, like, that's totally your call. Okay, so that looks cute. I'm just gonna do my black now and do little dots in the center of the flowers. And I'm just kind of putting little dabs right there. If you don't want to do that or you're worried about it, you can also use the back of your brush and just stamp it down, pick up more, stamp it down. And that'll make like a perfect little circle for you as well. You just have to remember that you did that because sometimes I use my brush after and it gets all over my hands because I'm like, oh shit, I forgot that I was using that as a little stamp. All right. That is so cute. Look at that little ghost, and he's having such a good time. You can also add little eyelashes to the eyes if you want, because that would also be super cute. So, but yeah, here it is, and we did it. I wasn't sure, you know, halfway through, I was like, is this gonna work? But you know what? It turned out really cute. All right, and we're done. And our painting is done then, y'all. If you have any questions or any ideas for future paintings, please leave a comment and let me know. If you had a fun time, then please like and subscribe for more paintings in the future. Have a good day and take care of yourself. Bye.